Hey guys, Josh here. I've been playing Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma for over 80 hours now, and I'll be sharing with you 10 things I wish I knew earlier, various tips and tricks that should make your time in Azuma more enjoyable. Thanks to Marvelous for sending me an early copy of the game so I could prepare this video on time for all of you. Leave a like at any point if you learned something new, and let's begin. One of the main features of Guardians of Azuma is the village building. Pretty early on, you will learn how to use the Terra Tiller to decorate. Time stops, by the way, when you're in village builder mode, so there's no rush, and you will be introduced to the overhead view, which is what I want to talk about. At first, I thought this was just for decorating, but it's much more powerful than that. You can use it to plant seeds, and then hold down the A button, drag your cursor over all of the fields, and just like that, everything is watered in a few seconds. You can also harvest crops the same way, tap on trees to collect wood, and it's true that you won't have to do these things by yourself once you have a lot of villagers, but not having to do everything by hand at the beginning will still save you a lot of time. If you want to move your fields but you're scared of losing your crops, don't worry, removing the fields will give you your seeds back. Of course, you will lose whatever growth they had, but things grow pretty quickly in this game anyway. Lastly, if you need to clear up debris or to remove paths or anything else, you can hold down the X button and again just drag your cursor wherever you need. You don't have to press every single time and you don't have to do it by hand. So take full advantage of that overhead view. As you explore the land of Azuma, you will unlock new seeds, so keep an eye out for these crops in the wild, and eventually you will stumble upon golden crops. At first, I was a bit scared of planting those golden crops because in their description where it says what village they're suited for, it simply says NA. So I thought maybe they won't grow in the villages, maybe there's a special area for them that I'll discover later on, and I just kept them in my bag for so long. But actually, all it means is that they grow equally well in any of the villages, so just plant them. As for other crops that do tell you what village they're growing well in or not, the main difference is the yield, so the quantity that you get. For example, cabbage grows well in the spring village, so over there, one harvest will yield 5 or 6 of them. On the other hand, it's not well suited for summer, and in that village, it will yield 3 or 4. In the autumn and winter villages, it's in between with a yield of 4 or 5. So everything has the potential to grow anywhere, but villagers will only plant what is best suited for where they live. They will select randomly from those seeds, starting with the ones that have the highest level. Randomly is important to keep in mind. At first, I spent a lot of time making a nice field for strawberries, another one for turnips, but then the villagers messed it all up, so there's no point in organizing things too neatly. So to level up your villages, you will have to complete village missions such as harvest 15 types of crops, harvest 4 types of golden crops. You can probably see where I'm going. Villagers are not going to plant all of these for you, so you may want to make sure to plant at least one of everything by yourself in each village. Ideally, I would recommend doing that as soon as you unlock a new type of seed, since the game doesn't really have a good way for you to keep track. Villagers will take care of harvesting them and it will count towards the missions, so planting is the only thing you absolutely have to do on your own. There is actually a way to get villagers to plant golden crops by themselves if they run out of seeds for their specific village. That might deserve its own video, but for now, take the time to plant a bit of everything if you don't want to be behind with leveling up your villages. Whenever one of your villages is ready to level up, you can do so by talking to the god of that village. You probably know that, and typically these gods are not too hard to find. You can see who's where on the map, but sometimes they could be a bit far or who knows, not available for a specific portion of the story. Luckily, it is also possible to level up the village by interacting directly with the sign in front of the shrine. If the god is available, it will summon them, but if not, it will still level up your village just fine, so there's no need to spend a lot of time searching for anyone. After leveling up your villages a few times, you will unlock contests that can be organized using this desk right next to the shrine. Pick a date, it will show up in your calendar, and on the day of, make sure you show up to the correct village and talk to the host between 8 and 9 AM. One time, I messed up a fishing contest because it said at the top of the screen that it started, so I just went fishing straight away, but then it got cancelled since I didn't talk to the host first. So do that before 9 and be careful because once you're at the shrine, there will be a lot of NPCs, It's tempting to interact with them, but many interactions take 30 minutes to an hour, so just keep an eye on the time before doing anything, and then have fun. As always with Rune Factory, in Azuma you'll befriend not only villagers, but also monsters, and there are a few things you should know. This feature takes a while to unlock. You'll learn about it during one of the main quests in the Autumn Village, and here's how it works. The bestiary shows you which monsters can be befriended, you approach them, do the Dance of Bonds, and instantly a smiley face should appear above them. One difference from previous Rune Factory games is that you then have to defeat the monster, after which they will respawn and you will see an option to gift them. You'll have 3 chances to gift them, with each item having a different success rate, and if it fails 3 times, the monster will disappear and you'll have to try again with another one. Typically, monsters tend to like the same items that they drop, and you will have a higher chance with those. So kappas like cucumbers, buffamoos like milk, you can see what they drop in the bestiary and go from there. You can also try with other items, and as long as you see this little heart icon first, it means that there is a chance of working, even if that chance might be low. However, if you see this big skull icon right away, this means it is impossible to befriend the monster with this item. Many of the bosses can be befriended as well. Those make great battle companions, but they are a bit picky. I'm trying to figure all of them out at the moment, and I'll most likely make a separate video for them in the future. Once you have monsters living in your barns, they will start producing items every day, and at first I was so confused with the specifics, like what determines the quality and quantity of items, so I did some testing and here are my findings. So if you have no villager assigned to a barn, items will appear every morning at 6 AM in this little basket. They don't accumulate in there, so if you don't pick them up daily, you lose them. The quality of the items can vary day to day, but it is based on the level of a monster. For example, I had a buffamoo at level 41. Some days it was producing medium milk level 1, other days medium milk level 3, or even 2 small milk level 7. Then I leveled up that buffamoo to 85, just put monsters in your party and go battle to level them up. And now, some days it's making medium milk level 7, large milk level 3, like I said it varies, there's a range, but it does go up based on the monster's level. It also doesn't matter the variety, so there are different types of buffamoos, different types of spiders, horses. They may start at different levels, but in the end, what they produce just depends on their level. For example, here I have 2 horses, this white one level 25, who makes strong fur, and this gold horse that you find later in game level 65, who makes exquisite fur. I level up the white one from 25 to 65, and now it makes exquisite fur as well. Both horses even have the exact same combat stats, so as a general rule, just go for whichever monster looks the best to you. Keep in mind that you can't, let's say, use exquisite fur in a recipe that requires strong fur. There are different items, so you may want to keep monsters of various levels, but you'll most likely have hundreds of the lower tier items by that point, so I would say don't worry too much about it. Okay, so I've been showing you what happens when you collect the items by yourself. The only reason I've done this is to keep track more easily of which monster produces what, but most of the time I would recommend assigning a villager to each barn. So what happens when there's a villager working on a barn? At 6 AM, they will pick up the items automatically, but also, depending on their traits and the herding bonus of your village, they will magically pick up more throughout the day that you wouldn't be able to get by yourself. So instead of 1 milk a day, 1 buffamoo could give you 2, 3, 4, or even more. And you may be wondering, where do all of these items go? A few animal products, such as milk and eggs, go straight into the shipping bin along with all of the crops harvested by your field workers. Everything else goes into storage. Things in the shipping bin get sold at the end of each day. So if you're hoping to have any ingredients for cooking, taking a look at the shipping bin to save a few things before going to bed can be a good idea. Overall, inventory management works quite differently than in other Rune Factory games. So when your inventory is full, items are still being picked up, but they are transferred automatically to your storage. Whenever you're gifting, cooking, crafting, no matter where you are, you have access to your entire storage. But if you need to eat some food, drink a potion, that is when you can only access items in your actual inventory. I made the mistake a few times early on to cook right before a boss battle. My inventory was full, so it all went into the storage, and halfway through the fight, I realized I didn't have anything I could eat. So now, once in a while, I make sure to empty my inventory and to put some food and potions in it. This next tip might sound very basic, but tell me I'm not the only one who, for the first maybe 10 hours or so, every single time I needed to use the bow, I would switch to it with the D-pad and then press the left trigger to aim. If you want to aim manually like this, as long as the bow is in one of your 2 weapon slots, even if it's not your current active weapon, you can just right away press the left trigger and it will switch to it automatically. Once I realized that, fighting the flying monsters and using the bow in general just became a lot easier. On a similar note, to get rid of the different types of blight blooms, you don't have to switch to the correct sacred treasure manually each time. Just go near it, press A, and your character will do the right thing. Next, you probably noticed how in the top right corner of the screen, you can see how much lumber and material stone you have, right? Well, did you know you can actually choose what items show up there? When you're accessing your storage or inventory, select an item and then press the Set to Favorites option. This new item should now appear under the lumber and stone, which are just the 2 favorite items by default. You can have up to 3 in total, and as you add new ones, it will replace the old ones. A few things you may want to track could be food, any material you need to save in large quantities. For me, I like to keep it simple with lumber, material stone, and bamboo. These 3 are used a lot in construction, and most of them are obtained by villagers, so it is convenient to have them there, and I know when it's worth to go pay a visit to the carpenter. Last but not least, if you're going to remember only one tip from this video, make it this one: don't wait too long before bonding with villagers. I don't want to spoil anything, so I will keep it short. Once you have an idea of who you would like to marry, start working on that as soon as possible. If you are hesitant between a few characters, it is possible to declare your love to multiple at once, go through all of the dates, and you will get to make your final choice once it's time to get married. There is one part where I got stuck for 15 hours, as I wasn't too sure what to do next. I almost gave up on the game, so if you don't want that to happen to you, work on your love life a little bit. So these are some things I wish I knew when I started playing Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma. Feel free to leave your own tips and tricks in the comments. I have a playlist of guides for this game if you want to keep learning. Let me know if there are specific things you'd like me to make a video about. Leave a like and subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you all in the next video.